Considering all the hype around Danger Russ's move to Denver and a near $250 million deal, there were some high expectations for the Broncos. So what's going on?
He has been with. 3rd down and 12, flag on the play, ball is loose.
After a dominant decade in Seattle, once word got out that Russell was interested in trying free agency, there was quite a bit of talk about where he could go. Since he was one of the most talented players in football, Russ could have gone practically anywhere, but he eventually decided on Mile High.
Russell Wilson has been traded to the Denver Broncos.
The Broncos haven't done jack ever since Peyton retired, so many were curious about how well Russell would fit, especially considering how stacked the division quickly became. It really goes to show how talented he is that the Broncos were still in the mix even when the Raiders got Devontae and the Chargers got Khalil. Russell is a Hall of Fame quarterback whether he retires today or in a decade. But since Denver had struggled quite a bit as of late, there were by no means no guarantees about what he could bring to Mile High. What better way to start off the season than back at home? Going into week 1 against Seattle, many expected the Broncos to destroy the Seahawks without even trying, but it didn't necessarily go that way. Surprisingly enough, Geno was able to orchestrate a 70-yard touchdown drive to start off the game, and although Russ and the Broncos got a field goal the following possession, the first quarter ended 7-3 Seattle. Initially, it was a bit of a shock that Geno was outplaying Russell, but it quickly changed as Danger Russ tossed a 68-yard touchdown pass to Jerry Jeudy in order to tie the game at 10, following a field goal by Seattle on the previous drive. It was a bit of a chess match between the two, but Geno was on timing as he drove 75 yards down the field for yet another touchdown. Although Seattle responded with a field goal of their own, they were only able to score 3 points the rest of the game as they ended up losing 17-16. Russell didn't necessarily play bad. He had over 300 yards and a touchdown, but Geno's game was much more fine-tuned with an over 80% completion percentage, nearly 200 yards, and 2 touchdowns. The student was able to beat the master at his own game, and so it made many curious about what would be next for Russell and the Broncos the following week against Houston. After a rough first week in Seattle, many expected a bounce-back performance for Danger Russ at home against an underwhelming Texans team. Even though it seemed like everything was set up for a massive game for Russ, they ended the first half tied 6-6. Although they were able to score and eventually win 16-9, Russell was really never able to get his footing, with a less than 50% completion percentage and split touchdowns and picks with only one of each. Needless to say, Danger Russ didn't show up in a game that should have been a piece of cake, and it makes this whole situation seem much different than previously expected. Something's not clicking in Denver. It may just be the fact that Russell is new and the team is full of young talent, but they definitely haven't hit their stride yet. The head coach Nathaniel Hackett has taken the blame for the underwhelming start, saying how it starts with me, but there's only so much a coach can do. At the end of the day, it's on the players to show up and play their best football, and the Broncos just haven't done that so far. Russell has talked about how there will always be difficulties adjusting to a new team, atmosphere, and everything that comes with it. And although it all makes sense, the main reason why there's so much concern around this is simply because he's a future Hall of Famer and just got a $250 million contract. No one cares about how well 7th round pick Joe Schmo does. They care about Russell because he's proven himself as a superstar over the course of a decade in Seattle, and so they expect him to do the same in Denver. But it's not all that easy. There are no guarantees no matter how good you are, and so I don't think the early struggles of Danger Russ and the gang should be seen as the end-all be-all. You have to keep in mind that Russell sat out the entire preseason, so Russ was inevitable. And if you combine that with all the new teammates, a brand new system, brand new coaching staff, and a whole lot of other factors, there were bound to be some difficulties. And I mean, there's not many who could deal with them as well as Russell, who has talked about the pros and cons of the situation, putting it down to the fact that they simply just need more touchdowns. Sounds simple enough, and it is, but the statement alone just proves that Russell is a natural-born leader. And that's exactly the kind of person you need to lead you out of a situation like this. The Broncos didn't spend $200 million on some average talent. They spent it on one of the best players, teammates, and leaders in football. And so I'm confident that he has what it takes to lead them out of the rubble sooner than later. Even though Russell Wilson and the Broncos have struggled early on, all hope isn't lost a mile high because Danger Russ is a superstar. And I think he'll prove it moving forward.
Broncos country, let's ride. Broncos country, let's ride.
Thanks for watching the video. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment down below stuff you want next. But anyway, see you all soon, and peace out.